We will face the darkness, we will honor the feast, and we will welcome the dawn. Good evening. Tonight, we gather to witness the full cycle. In this cathedral, we do not shy away from the difficult truths. We seek them out. We honor them. The work of this channel, the entire philosophy of the God who eats, is built upon three such truths, a sacred cycle that we often only glimpse in pieces. The first truth is the one we spend our lives running from, that all life must end. It is the unwelcome guest at every celebration, the silent dread that gnaws at the edges of our joy. It is a finality that feels like a failure, a silence that feels like a void. But here, we learn not to see it as a void, but as a clearing, a necessary and terrible stillness before the real work can begin. The second truth is the one we avert our eyes from, that in that silence, a glorious and grotesque feast of transformation begins. It is a symphony of rot, a holy and chaotic work of unmaking, where all that was certain and solid is dissolved and returned to its essence. It is not an act of violence, but of sacred reclamation. And the third, most hopeful truth is that from this exquisite ruin, the gift of life is given anew. It is the emergence from entropy, the bloom summoned from decay. It is the proof that nothing is ever truly lost, only rearranged. The promise that the end is never the end, but the fertile soil from which all new beginnings are born. Tonight, on this night, when the veil between worlds is thin, we will not merely speak of these truths, we will walk the path. We will witness the full, unblinking cycle in a triptych of becoming. The Unwelcome One. I feast on moonlight gasps that choke the throat of night, as neurons shatter, splintering into void's embrace. Your mind collapses, sparks snuffed by ravenous blight. I seep, creep, through arteries so deep, gnaw through bones and tear through iron-bound tomb. My hunger knows no boundary, no sleep. I drain the warmth from veins, each pulse I displace, fangs carving corridors through tender, quaking flesh. Life's river turns into stillness in my ruthless grace. I hoard your final tremor in darkness afresh, crushing echoes into silence, death's covenant sealed with the last heartbeat's mesh. I surge like a blackened tide that collides and divides the crumbling shore. My shadow yawns, longing to swallow life forevermore. I rend the sinew screams where mortal hopes fade. All that you were dissolves beneath my ancient maw. The end unfolds its wings. The cycle's debt is paid. And now, silence. Symphony of Rot. I awaken in a cathedral of crackling chitin, each shell fragment a brittle hymn beneath my feet. My breath is a corrosion of ammonia and butyric acid, the warm sting of rotted butter swirling in my lungs. I inhale the sulphurous hiss of hydrogen sulfide, a choir of ghostly eggs, long since laid in flesh's slick crevices. I roar with the snap of mycelial wires, filaments tearing through tendons as I feast. My tongue, a mucilaginous ribbon, laps at marrow's buttery pool, drawing threads of pulped cartilage into my gullet. The coppery tang of iron floods my mouth, hemoglobin's last cry curdling on my tongue. I slurp the reek of mold-green veins weaving filigree across bloated flesh, their electric whispers crackling as spores burst free, puffing white clouds that dance in my nostrils. Each footstep yields a slick squelch of sloth skin and marrow grease, a wet symphony for my devouring. I taste the acrid vinegar of decayed wood, tannin-laced bitterness trickling down my throat, while crustacean carapaces beneath my stomp fracture like overripe fruit. Their crackle echoing in my hollow chest. The air clings, heavy and viscous, pressing spores into every orifice, my omnipresent offering. I am the glory of collapse, the architect of corruption. My hymn is the hiss of shifting maggots, the pop of pustules rupturing under my devotion. I chant, all that crumbles feeds my throne, each drip of ooze my sacrament. I flare with the fungus's electric bloom, worshipping the fermenting rot that swells beneath my feet. I am the god who eats decay, and in my feast there is no mercy, only the exquisite ruin of all that once was whole. And now we feast. The gift of life. I cradle every fallen trace, my soft decree upon the loam, where frayed husks yield their gift, and hyphae hymn the earth to home. I bow in gratitude to bones and bark, to shells and silent seed. Their sacrament sustains the green that springs from every dying need. From death's dark cradle, shoots uncoil in choruses of green, each tender blade a whispered oath that life shall yet convene. I fan the spores like silver notes upon a waking choir, and mushrooms arch their alabaster caps to catch the dawn's desire. Sap songs pulse beneath the bark, baroque in beating time, while fern frond spiral, fractal flourished, weaving root to rhyme. I call the insects from their crypts, beetles, bees, and caterpillars, their million-foot cascade ascend in hunting, feeding pillars. I shape the trophic cascade's arc from seed to leaf to hair, from fox's silent prowl to carrion's banquet laid with care. Each predator punctuation marks a stanza in the whole. The microbial minstrels turn decay to minutia for soul. I see the season's symphony, each chord of bloom and fade, a fugue of light and shadow in the living mosque I've made. So rise, you emerald fugitive, from ruin's rich refrain. Your sprouting splendor is the proof that death begets acclaim. And now we begin again.